Hello everyone, welcome to the C program lecture. Here I am going to show you how you can create a C program and how to execute the C program in the C code blocks IDE. Also I will explain how the C programs is executed by the system, what are the steps that will be followed. So let's start. So I'm using here code blocks IDE, which is the integrated development environment for creating the C program. So start the code blocks and go to the file menu, go to new and click on file option. Here you can see the type of files that can be created with this IDE. So click on C source file because I'm going to create a C program, and then click on go. Here you can select C or C++. So I'll make C language as my programming language. Click on next, and here in this step it is asking for the full path of the file name. So I'll just click on these dots, and here I will create a file. Subtract is the name of the file because I'm going to subtract two numbers, and the type of file will be C file. It is already selected here, so you can check here whether you have selected the right file in the selection dialog box, either it is C file or a C++ file. So you can check here, and after that, once you have named the file, click on save option. Now this is the complete path of the file that will be saved. And after you have saved the file, click on finish, and this window will appear. This is empty file. So here we are going to write the C program. So the structure of C program is very simple, but you have to take care about the syntax of the every line. So first step is the preprocessor directives, or the type of files that we want to include in this particular C program. So here we use a preprocessor directive #include to include input output header file, and in the next step we'll write the void main. So void main is the main function in which we are going to write the code of the program. Every C program will have one main function in which the program will be written. The computer will execute, or the system will execute the instructions that will be in the main program. So the starting point or the entry point of the C program is the main function. So there is only one main function in the C program, and that is the entry point of the program. There is one main function. It is necessary. Third is, it is the entry point of the C program. A program can have many functions, but main function will be always executed first and will always return in the end. It is the first calling function. These are the four main points about the main function. So inside the main function we'll write the code of the program. So in every C program we follow a certain steps or a certain procedure. So we can say that is the algorithm of the program. And if I have to simply say these steps in 3 steps, I can combine them in 3 steps, which are input, process, output. So the first step will be input, process, output. But before that, declaration is necessary. Along with this, we have to call some functions to run the program, or to take an input or print the output. So we have to call the functions also in between these steps. So the first step is the declaration. Not every program will have a declaration. If we simply want to display some lines, say hello world, we don't need any declaration, because declaration is required to declare the variables. So let's see the first step in this program. Because we are creating a subtract program, so we'll declare variables that will be needed. So say x and y are the input variables and z is the output variable, which will carry the result. So we need to declare these variables, and declaration is the first step inside the main function. At the starting of the main function always starts with the declaration of the variables that will be used. So in this program I am going to take two input variables x and y, and I have to define the type of input variables, and type is defined here. So say I say float because it will also contain the integer values, and for storing the result, which in this case is a subtraction of x and y, I need one another variable, say sub, or I can say is a result. So declaration of the variables is complete. So this is the first step that will be that you have to write when you are starting the main function. So after this step, we have to give the values to the input variables. So there are two ways to do so. First is the static way, which is hard coding the values. So say I say x is 6 and y is 8, but with this in this case we cannot change the values all the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the input functions to do this, to take the input values. So there are two ways we can provide the values. One is the static way by hard coding the values. Another is dynamic, which means using input functions to give the input value. So the basic input function that will be, or the main input function that will be used, is scanf. So here I'll use the scanf function to take the input. Before taking input, I must present some instruction to the user so he can prepare for entering the values. So I'll say enter the values to subtract. And I want to present this line in new line, so I'll add the new line character, which is /n. So this entire line will be printed in the new line, and I'll put a colon here because otherwise my number will be joined combined with the subtract word. So I'll put a colon here, give some space, and then enter the values. Put a semicolon here. And for the syntax of scanf, syntax means how I am going to write the scanf function. So I require two things. First is the format specifiers. So I'll just explain what do you mean by format specifiers. So like in this case is %f. So it describes the type of input or output that will be taken for the variable. So if I'm writing f here, that means the input will be of float type. So the format specifier should specify the type of input that will be taken as an input to the memory. So if I'm writing f here, then a decimal value can be, or a float value can be stored in the memory. But if I'm using a different format specifier like %d, which is for integers, so even if I'm going to input float values, the memory is not going to accept the float value. It will only accept the integer part, which is the 7. So I have to be careful with the format specifier because it describes the type of input and or output that will be stored or taken from the memory. So here I am going to input a float value into the memory, which is the value of x and y. So I'll write it twice, %f. So after writing this, I'll use the address symbol, and symbol on the keyboard 7 number. So this is the address symbol. So I'll write for X and similarly for Y. So first the input of X will be taken and then the input of Y will be taken. This particular symbol will tell the compiler about the address where the data will be stored. So the computer memory is divided into addresses or cells. So each cell will contain some data, but every data type have a different requirement of cells. So for example, float takes 4 bytes. So just explain here. So RAM, which is the primary memory, it is made up of byte addressable. It is byte addressable cells. So each cell is of 1 byte, but each type have a different requirement or different space requirements. For example, float takes 4 bytes, integer takes 2 bytes, and character takes 1 byte. Because different data types have different requirement of memory, so according to that, number of cells will vary. So a float type will take 4 cells. Now I have to tell the compiler about the address of the X in the memory. So X is a float type, so it will suppose its starting address is 3001, then 3002. So this particular X variable will take up 4 cells because it is of float type, but the starting address of the starting cell will be taken as the address of the X. So address of X here will be 3001. Similarly for Y, you can say if Y is stored at address 4001, but the data it will store will take up 4 cells because Y is again a float type. So this is the memory structure, how the data will be stored in the memory and what will be the address of the variables. So after writing the scanf, now you can clearly see this, what is the purpose of adding these and these two in the scanf function. But do not forget to write the address symbol because otherwise the data will not be stored. So the input step is complete as I have written already. That input, process, output will be the 3 steps that will be followed. I have declared the variables, then input is complete. Now process. Process means what I'm going to calculate or what is the computation part. So in this case, the computation part is the subtraction of two numbers X and Y. So that is the processing part. So in order for process or computation that I'm going to do, so I need the formula or need the function to do so. So in this case, the formula is result equal to X minus Y semicolon. I can write the computation or the formula in this way. Result is the variable that will store the subtraction of X and Y. Remember that whatever variables I have declared here, you have to use the same variables in this formula. If I'm using some variable which I have not declared, then compiler will throw an error of undeclared variable. So you have to see what variable names you have used, and always follow the naming rules to declare the variables. So after writing this, so this is the process or the computation part. I can also write, if this is mathematics, then I can write this in this way also, but in computer it does not work this way. I cannot write the variable that will store the result on the right side. It will give an error of L value required. So it is important that you should write the expression in this way, in which the input values are on the right side and the output or the returning value should be on the left side. The result will store the result of the x and y subtraction, so it should be on the left side of the expression. So our expression is complete. Now the output part. So the result is calculated and stored in the result cell of the memory. Just like x and y, the result also stores the data in memory. So suppose this result variable stores at the data at location 5001. So I need to print that data on the screen. In order to print the data, I need a function that will do the display of the results on the screen using the printf function. So using the printf function, I'm going to print the result. So suppose my result is 5, so I'm going to display in this way differences. Again, I'm going to use format specifier to specify the type of output. So in this case, the value of result will be displayed here in the %f value. So whatever data will be stored in the result, it will be displayed in this part of the statement. So if I'm writing here differences %f, the %f will display the value in the final output, the output value of the result. So this is my complete program about subtraction of two numbers, and I have told you about how to perform the steps, or what are the steps to do so. The first step should be declaration of variable inside the main. Then we'll print some lines, input the values for the input variables. Then we'll calculate the result using the formula or the function that will be used to calculate the result. According to the program, you are going to add those lines here or add those instructions here. And finally, we are going to display the result of the program. So this is the way, or this is the path that will be followed in every program. The main is the function that will be containing our program, and all other functions will be called inside the main function. You can also see in code blocks the star here. The star means that the program is not safe, so you can save the program using the file save file option, or using the shortcut Ctrl S on the keyboard. It is important to save your program after writing few lines of code, so that you won't lose the program in case of power failure or any other problem. This is the way you are going to write the program. So this is about the C program. So now we are going to compile this program. As we all know that the computer does not understand C language or English language, it understands the binary language. So we need to convert this program into the binary format. So now I'm going to explain how to compile this program in code blocks. So go to the build option here in this menu strip, and you can see the compile current file option. You can also see the shortcut here. So click on compile current file, and in the bottom screen you can see the build log option. So logs and others, you can activate this window using the view option and click on logs, or the F2 is the shortcut. You can see that the program is compiled properly because there are no errors and no warnings. So compilation is complete, and the compiler used is gcc.exe. So depending upon what kind of development environment you are using, the compiler can vary. So it is using the option C and O to create the object file. So this is a file that will be created in the folder where we have saved the source file of the C program, subtract.o. So this object file is created, that means the program is compiled. But this object file cannot be executed because it contains the binary file, but it lacks the linking library. The library will contain the definition of the functions that are not defined by us, or they are called the inbuilt function like printf and scanf. These functions were created by the C creators, by the developers of C compilers, and the C program is created by us. So or the library definitions of these functions are stored in a separate file which is with the same name as the header file. So if the header file is stdir.h, then the library file will be stdir.lib. stdir.lib will contain the definition of the printf and scanf function, means the C code of the printf and scanf function, but in compiled format. The library is already compiled. So the object file and the stdio.lib file will be linked together. I will explain these steps after the execution of the program. So let's go to the execution part. So the compilation is completed. If there are errors in your compilation, then it will be displayed along with the line number. Just show here. So suppose I deliberately add some error. The rest is not the variable name which we have declared. We'll just compile this. So now you can see the error is coming in the line number 7 and it is marked red here. So you can see the error here. There is some error in this line. You have to search the line or before the line or after the line. You have to see the error is around this line. So rest undeclared, it is clearly stating that the rest is undeclared variable. First use this in function, or did you mean result? So just change the variable name which we have declared and compile again. Now the compilation is successful because the error is removed. So this is, you have to see what kind of error is coming. You can see the message about the error. It will display some information about the error and then you can correct that. You can also see the column numbers here, the line number and the column number of the error. This is where you can check the compilation is successful or not. After the compilation is complete, you go to the build option again and then click on the run. You click on the run to execute the program. Now the program will be loaded into the memory and the CPU will execute the instructions. Run also means that your program object file will be linked to the library file and executable file will be created. We already saw this, that we have seen the object file.o file is created, but we have not, there is no exe file that will be executed, that we need to execute the program. Now this window has opened up. This window will contain the execution part. Let's check the log again, build log. You can see that the subtract.exe file is created in the same path where the source program and object file are available. So in total there are 3 files that will be available. That is the original source file, the object file and the exe file. That is the file that will be run. And when you run the program, you will get this window, the command window, where you can give the input according to the program. So always separate, if there are 2 or 3 variables, always separate with the space. Press on enter. Difference is 3. As you can see, after 3 there are 6 zeros. So why there are 6 zeros? Because that is the precision of the float values. If I am using integer value, then there won't be any decimal part. You can always reduce this to 2 digit or 3 digit according to our requirement. So in order to do that, I will make some changes in the program. So first see this, how this program is executed, and you have to take care about how the files are being created here, so that there are no files that are missed. If there is any problem with the execution of the program or the compilation, then you have to check the environment variables in the windows. I'll just close this here. So let's reduce the precision to 2 decimal places. So for taking the result to 2 decimal places or outputting the results to 2 decimal places, I'll just use the 0.2f. So this will reduce the result to 2 decimal places. So whenever you are making any changes to the program, save that again and then compile again, and after compilation, run. Now I'm taking some decimal numbers here. Now you can see that the decimal values are reduced to only 2 digits. So this is how you can set the precision of the float values according to the program need. So this is all about the C program, how you can create the C program, what are the steps to do so, and some important points about the input functions, the syntax of the input output functions. So in the next lecture, we'll study about the execution, compilation and execution phases of the C program, how the entire process of compilation and execution is completed by the system. Thank you.